All right, guys, welcome back to the show. A quick one. I just saw a message on my YouTube studio thingy, right? It was a message from Maxim G. I believe I said it right, Maxim G. And he mentioned something very cool, right? And I think everybody needs to know about this. So he asked the question, he said, what about the BlackRock trying to fork BTC in order to print as many more BTC as they want? So I'm going to give you a technical view here, right, from the limited knowledge that I have in the technicality of how BTC works, and especially how BTC forks work, right? So I'm going to give you this. So a little bit of context. Previously, like I'm talking like from 2015, middle of 2015, all the way to 2017, 2018, I've personally witnessed and seen online, you can go and search this and verify this as well. At that time, there was around 36,000 attempts to fork BTC, right? Currently, there's probably 50,000 attempts to fork it. Of course, many of them just fail because when it comes to miners, a lot of the miners don't accept it. So that's what happens. Now, the most successful ones was like Bitcoin ABC, Bitcoin BSV, or Bitcoin Cash, whatever you want to call it, right? There are a few that have done it. And of course, there are a few more Bitcoin forks that have been customized enough that they are completely independent to Bitcoin. They didn't name themselves as Bitcoin. To name a few, Monero is actually a Bitcoin fork with a privacy sector built into it, right? So that is actually a Bitcoin fork. It's part of the original blockchain, and then they forked it in a way, but they wanted to keep it as an independent thing. Dash, a lot of people kind of forgot about it. Dash used to be a big cryptocurrency project. I remember Dash when it was a couple of dollars, and then the highest it went to was like $1,000 or something during the 2017, 2018 bull market, 2017 bull market. And then it kind of died or fizzled away because it's now buried amongst many, many millions of coins, right? So talk about the technicality. BlackRock, they want to go and fork BTC. Now, there's a few options they have, right? And let's make these all clear so that you understand what happens. BlackRock could have every single miner on the planet in their pockets, which they probably have already. And that's not a joke, right? That's actually a reality that's happening right now. BlackRock is investing heavily into a lot of these mining corporations, and the China move, I don't know if you know about this, years ago, we had this issue where China banned mining, and a lot of the miners left China, and that was all to do with the situation with the electricity and mining, whatnot. So, you know, the nonsense that we had with the climate change nonsense, right? So China acted hard for whatever reason, even though America and China don't get along. That just didn't make any sense to me. It was kind of political. But anyway, China got rid of all the miners, and the miners exited, and they started to move into USA and XYZ and other parts of the world, right? Where mining was available and it could be cheaper. And also that's when we realized and noticed that a lot of the mining corporations or the mining companies, Bitcoin mining companies, they were now being listed on stock markets and whatnot, right? So you got to wonder why and how. So, and all I can say is, from my point of view, is miners will only do that if there's an incentive, right? Whatever the situation was, there had to be an incentive for them to go elsewhere and set up companies and now start trading in the stock markets. So that's what I saw. Anyway, I'm not going to talk too much on that. Then when it comes to the technology layer, right? So BlackRock wants to go and do this. Of course, they need the miners on their side in order to make the fork valid. Now, here's the problem that I see, right? For example, if they fork BTC as it is right now, they can't actually add more coins to it. They can't change that, because the moment they change the 21 million tokens to 41 million tokens, for example, miners accept it, which is fine. It's not a problem. The community won't accept it. What you have to understand is there are plenty of people, and this is where we are totally decentralized, right? Miners only have one special job: mine. Now, when miners go in and mine with their supercomputers, or whatever you want to call it, the ASIC miners, right? When they go and mine it, and the more computers that they put on, the harder it becomes to mine cryptocurrency, right? So the hash algorithm, right? So the hash rate goes up, and all of a sudden now you need more and more computational power to do it. But here's a fun fact. BTC was designed in such a way, and this is like perfect design. When you reduce the number of computers or reduce the number of computing power, right? BTC becomes easier. A lot of people don't know this, that originally BTC was mined on small laptops and PC computers with less than a gigabyte of RAM. I'm not even, they're like 200 megabytes, maybe 400 megabytes of RAM. So that's what you have to understand. Original BTC was not even mined using these ASIC miners. ASIC miners was something that was created very new, right? In order to have much more efficiency and produce more power. That's all it was. They only have one job, just mine cryptocurrency. So when you take them all offline, well, the hash rate comes down. And when the hash rate comes down, guess what? Every one of us, we could operate our own Bitcoin core node, and we can start mining as well. In fact, we can do mining right now with our laptops. But the problem is, obviously, they have more power, like the computing power than us. So they do this. So if the community decides that whatever quantity of BTC we have remaining, we want to continue and mine it, nobody can stop us, right? So BlackRock can attempt to do whatever they want, but they can't increase anything else, right? And even if they did manage to increase it and they forked it, well, they're just going to fork it and they're just going to carry on, right? But here's another problem they have to deal with, right? Imagine they create, just for the sake of this video, just say 100 million tokens, right? Or 100 million cryptocurrency of BTC. Let's just say the BlackRock version of BTC has 100 million total supply. Not a problem. But in order for BlackRock to benefit from that, they would have to peg it to the 21 million Bitcoin, right? They peg it. But then the problem happens is, if they peg it and they have 100 million, then they're all of a sudden the market capitalization or the total market supply be alone, right? If today BTC is worth like $1 trillion market cap, well, then they have $5 trillion there. Are people going to actually buy that? You see what I mean? So you've got to look at all of those factors and see how it works. Now, if BlackRock decides to fork BTC and create their own BlackRock BTC, BBTC, or whatever they want to call it, right? I think it's absolutely fine. There's no issues at all. They can have 1 trillion coins as a supply, but they will have to have their own price discovery as well and operate similar to how Monero is, similar to how Dash is, and they'll be fine. It's not a problem, because remember, I've mentioned a few things about the ETF, right? I've talked about the ETF, that what they're attempting to do is trade 1 billion tokens, right? But we don't have 1 billion coins in BTC, right? So you can only trade what you have. Now, BlackRock obviously see this as a problem, right? BlackRock see this as a problem because they can't allow all the institutions to come in and ape in and trade 1 trillion Bitcoins, right? They can't do that because they only hold 1%. That's the problem, because it's so decentralized that majority of the percentage are in people's hand. Shrimps could be a single Satoshi, but that is decentralized, right? And then the way it works, that's also decentralized. So all of these things taken into account, the sum of everything, right? You can't actually take away BTC from what it is right now. You can't. And even if someone did, it doesn't get abandoned. It still continues, right? And the current rewards that these miners are receiving, they just want, if they switch it off, they won't receive it. Guess what? Some lucky guy is sitting somewhere, even myself, I'll probably switch on my laptop. If I hear BlackRock's doing that, I'm going to switch on my laptop and leave it there running 24 hours a day with my node there, with the entire Bitcoin core downloaded. And I'll carry on. Do you know what I mean? So they can't stop us. That's the beauty. You have mining corporations, right? Let's talk about mining corporations. When you look at all the mining corporations around the globe, it's not probably even 100, right? Maybe some minuscule ones like private companies, whatnot, right? But the point is the major ones, they're not even in the hundreds. They're not even in the hundreds. They're few, far-fetched, right? Few, probably 10, 15, 20. And usually what you'll find is that one of them probably owns 5 of them, right? So when they stop, there's thousands of us out there who can actually now mine and get those entire reward to ourselves, and the network still continues. That's the beauty about Bitcoin, right? Another thing Bitcoin has is and that's where probably BlackRock can win. Remember what I said about the miners in the beginning, that it's about consensus, right? So any upgrades or any changes you need to make, you have to do via consensus, right? Everybody has to agree. So the nodes will have to give a green light in order to continue. So of course they can have the miners on their sides, but then there are developers as well, remember, and then there's community as well, right? So it's not easy as it sounds. Now, I do know that majority of this is a rumor, right? This whole BlackRock thing is a rumor, but it is based on a piece of paper that they have released, and they were talking about some kind of an issue that they want to deal with. Now, one of the issues that everyone's kind of pointing towards, right, is like they've been pointing for very long, is how Bitcoin is not efficient, right? How Bitcoin takes away, uses too much energy, which was bullshit. Everyone knows it's bullshit. Excuse my language, but it's the truth, right? It's complete BS, right? Um, Bitcoin doesn't use that much energy. But yes, say for example, all of a sudden people say, okay, we want to make Bitcoin into a proof of stake or whatever. And then there is an argument there, right, that they can make. And God knows how many brainwashed people are out there who might decide and say, yeah, let's do it, right? Or how many people BlackRock's bought up, because that's what it is. BlackRock will pay their way. BlackRock will pay their way to get their way, right? And so that's what I'm thinking. But as I said, technically they can't do it. Whatever happens, technically they can't do it. They can fork it. It's been forked thousands of times. They're not the first to attempt it. Miners normally don't accept it, but if miners do accept it, then the community is there to keep hold on to it. Even now, if you go onto some slightly advanced wallets or maybe a decentralized wallet, what you'll see is you'll get so many options for Bitcoin. You'll get Bitcoin Taproot, Bitcoin SegWit, Bitcoin SegWit 2, whatever. So many different options there. Why? Why do we have multiple networks when we actually only need one? That's because that's how many times we've had upgrades, right, on the same network, right, or a kind of a fork. So each network is a fork of the original network, but ultimately they all link back to the same one because all of them have to come back into that one block. Doesn't matter what you do, right? Whether you're running a Lightning node, whatever, it still comes back to the same block. So that's what you got to understand. I hope this kind of makes sense. I know it's kind of a little bit messy. Again, I just saw your message and I thought, you know what, I got to drop this because a lot of people need to understand this, right? Especially in the future when things come along, you need to understand this, right? Bitcoin, you know, I'm going to be more hypothetical here. This is me right now, right? I'm going to tell you this, and this is going to make total sense to you. Imagine tomorrow, BlackRock does decide to take over BTC and all of a sudden create 1 trillion tokens, right? And obviously they're going to do it for their own benefit. And remember the part that I said they have to peg it to the current price, right? So ultimately, even if they have 1 trillion tokens, right, they can't reduce the price because then it defeats the entire purpose. The purpose for them would be to create more coins to sell back to people, right? Because there's high demand, let's sell it back to people. But they can't sell it back to people for less than what these ones are worth because that defeats the entire purpose. The BlackRock can't be any richer, right? So I look at that, I'm like, look, either way, BlackRock doesn't win. It doesn't matter who it is, they just don't win. So if you look at all the scenarios that I've pointed out right now, and they're not all of them, there's plenty more scenarios out there, guys. But this is just something that I'm saying. Based on the limited experience I've had with forks, right? And what I mean by that is in 2017, was it 2017? Yeah, it was 2017. Me and a mate of mine actually looked at forking BTC and creating our own version. And what we found was when we did do it, we actually did it, right? And what we found was one, when we did it, the number of coins that were currently in existence was the exact same duplicate versions. I had the same number of coins. I couldn't, so when I forked the entire thing, it gave me 21 million coins. I couldn't exceed that unless I made some major changes like Monero did and like Dash did. I couldn't do it. I was like, oh, interesting. And then what I noticed is when we did the fork, right, before the network was fully live or anything, it automatically gave a 1-to-1 ratio of that same coin in the Bitcoin, whoever's holding Bitcoin in their wallet. So if you go up there, all of a sudden the same address has 2 coins there, or in most cases many, but in our case, like we can see our coin also in somebody else's wallet, 1-to-1 ratio. But the price wasn't there because the price discovery didn't start, right? So zero balance, but it's there, right? You know what I mean? And then obviously when the miners didn't accept it, it just died off. It just fizzled away, right? The network kind of 2 blocks later, I just left it, finished. So that kind of just killed it off, right? And that's what happened. So that's a limited experience that I've had. And of course, at that time, we did many research. And as I said, we saw 36,000 forks that were already done. And yeah, I mean, it's been going on. A lot of people are still doing it. I think the latest fork that we have, if I'm correct, I think it was BitConnect, or I can't remember, but not BitConnect. Sorry, not BitConnect. BitTorrent. Sorry, BitConnect was a fucking scam. Excuse my language, but it was a freaking scam. It was BitTorrent, BTT. Yeah, that's it. I think they forked BTC or something. I can't remember anyway, guys. Listen, I'm just going on the top of my head. There's too many to track right now, okay? And with me sitting here giving you some original content without any scripts, without any reference points in front of me, right? I can't do it. Do you know what I mean, right? Because a lot of people have a lot of research notes, you know, the show notes or whatnot, and they'll give you stuff from there. I'm not doing this, guys. I'm just telling you what it is as it is from the limited knowledge that I have. And I hope this kind of helps. So to answer your question, guys, I mean, Maxim, right, Maxim, to answer your question, I wouldn't be too concerned about it. And one thing I don't get concerned about is news. In fact, I don't even listen to news. I don't read articles, especially crypto articles and this and that. I do have my Twitter on. So there are a few people that I follow, and you know, I'll get a few push notifications here and there. That's it. You know, just from that notification, I'll get what I need to do. Or any information I want. Other than that, I try and keep my mind clear and focused on what I want. I'm looking at BTC to kind of calculate what the market's going to do. I'm looking at the altcoins to calculate what the next move for BTC is going to be, right? You know, and there are patterns there. You can identify those patterns, but I can't do any of those if I start focusing on all the news that I'm getting from all the various sources that are there. And especially if there's a rumor that's been exploded, all I'm going to do is by clicking those links or going and reading the article, brainwash myself, number one. And on top of that, I'm going to be giving them a click for nothing. These we shouldn't be giving them any of these power, because what we do is every time an article or some sort of an information about some company comes up and we go and click those links, right, we're ranking them. They're becoming more and more popular, and we shouldn't be giving that to them, because that's how they take power off you. A lot of people don't know, unknowingly you're giving power to somebody who shouldn't have that power, right? Or who can manipulate or misuse that power. You should not give that to them, right? So you got to be very careful what you listen to, who you watch. And I'm not saying any of this just because you're watching me. No, honestly, I've always come on YouTube and I said, I don't really care. I've never done YouTube for any financial gains or anything. I've always tried to answer community questions and any relevant stuff that community asks me. I've never ever come here on my own, off my own back, and said, oh, I want to talk about this today, right? Or let's talk about this. No, nothing. Honestly, I just haven't got the time for this, right? So you guys probably already know this. A lot of you guys that have been following me for the last 3-4 years now, you know that I'm a busy person, right? I'm out there doing my thing, whatever needs to be done, right? I grind every single day. I'm just a normal guy. So, you know, I'm not one of those that kind of come here and trying to take something off you. It's not going to happen. So because of that, you know, my videos are slightly unusual. So I do apologize if the audio wasn't good, or I do apologize if the lighting isn't good, but I am literally about to go home. Time now is 10:50 and today is the 15th of February 2024, right? And I literally saw that message, which was posted around 11 hours ago. So I'll put a screenshot inside there somewhere, but that's what it was. So other than that, guys, I hope this video was informative. I hope you understand BlackRock can't do jack shit to us. Because of how Bitcoin was designed. Again, hats off to Satoshi for generating and creating something so powerful that even if all the miners do something against the community can actually fight back, right? And even if the miners stop mining BTC, the version that we want, we can mine it because it was always in the code, right? They can change the code, they can do whatever they want. It will be an independent coin. It will never be the BTC, right? That's the beauty about Bitcoin. So yeah, let's move on. And where we've got some good news as well on the chart. I've been looking at how BTC has been kind of holding. So today it was hovering around the 51,600. Not concerned at all, right? I do see a level about $50,000. As long as we can hold that around the 4-hourly time frame, we're fine, right? We're fine. In fact, we're about to close the day and we're bullish, so I ain't complaining at all. After a nice pump that we've had, to see a red candle ain't concerning at all, because I'm looking at the higher time frame, which is the weekly, and we are still green, right? That's what matters, not these daily ones, not these 4-hourly or 12-hourly candles that I've been looking at. The weekly one is the one that we are looking for. So as long as we can close positive on a Sunday, it's absolutely fine, guys. Next level is going to be around $58,000 to $60,000. That's what we want. And of course, the other alts I've been mentioning for some time now, I've mentioned many. I'm not going to mention any right now, but there are many coins that I've mentioned. You can see the performance on them as well. And, you know, good luck. I hope you gained. And yeah, let's see where we go from here. But right now, guys, just stay cautious. Don't go into fresh stuff. You don't do fresh buys and this and that, because the volatility is here right now. It's going to be a little bit rocky while we go up, because there's going to be a lot of liquidations. So please do understand this. A lot of people are going to try and short at certain levels, and we're going to have short squeezes, and we're going to have these cascading effects where we're going to start coming down. But these are the times when you hold or you buy, one or the other, right? You don't sell. Remember, you don't give power to the market. So if you want to see a higher number. Now, the only level that I'm going to talk about is up to the $69,000. What happens after the $69, guys, nobody knows, right? But we do know that's going to be the most important level for us. If we do reach that, the $69,000 level, and if we break that, then sky's your limit. We don't know how high we're going to go, right? I can throw numbers out there. In fact, I do have a number that I gave around 3 years ago. It was $84,000, and the Fibonacci's are still shouting $84,000. But I don't want to throw these numbers or any other numbers out there, because I do have a step. There is a video where I actually show the steps on what price we have to get to, and how each price, when we get to that level, then what the next target is. I have made a video about this a couple of years ago, actually. So I'm not going to make this video any longer. I hope this video is informative. Thank you very much. And thank you for your question, Maxim. I do appreciate that. I hope the community finds this beneficial as well. And I'm going to catch you guys in another one very soon. Adios, my amigos.